and you are here for our Friday practice. So glad that you are joining me today. So, if you could please introduce yourself in the chat box, tell me where you're from, as well as whether or not you've actually attended one of these sessions before. I would just love to know who's joining me today. All right. So, as we're waiting to get started here, let me tell you a little bit about Healthy Minds Innovations. We are a nonprofit associated with the Center for Healthy Minds at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And we basically take the scientific insights coming out of the Center for Healthy Minds and we translate them into tools to help people both cultivate as well as measure well being. And we've been coming together each week, each weekday as a global community to practice together to train our minds in these qualities associated with resilience and well being. And each week, we're gathering around a practice theme. And our practice theme is around one of the dimensions of the Healthy Minds model of well being. And if you're not familiar with our Healthy Minds model, you can check us out and learn more at tryhealthyminds.org. But essentially, there are four dimensions to our well being model: awareness, connection, insight, and purpose. And each of these dimensions contains a set of skills that are both trainable as well as there's science that links them to being beneficial to well being. And so this week, we've been focused on purpose. So, purpose, you can almost think of purpose as being sort of this sense of direction in our lives, a sense of direction that is motivating to us. It provides inspiration. And the truth of it is that there's purpose underlying everything that we do. We just generally don't see it. So when we train our minds to recognize our purpose, what we're doing is we're tapping into that source of motivation that's already there so that we can infuse these activities in our lives with a sense of meaning so that even the most mundane activities like doing the dishes can be an extension of what is important to us. So you could almost think of purpose as that kind of guiding North Star, that big goal that we never achieve. And then we actually have our values, and our values focus on the actions that help move us towards fulfilling that sense of purpose. And so, what we're going to do today is we're going to do a practice in which we're going to familiarize ourselves and see values that have helped us in previous difficult times so that we can actually use these values to help us stay grounded during difficulty and to keep us from getting overwhelmed. So, looking forward to doing this practice with you today. And as always, awareness is the foundation of everything that we're doing here. So, the whole point is I'm going to guide you through a series of reflections, and you want to make sure that you're doing these reflections with this infused with this sense of knowing. And if at any point you're disconnected from the practice, you're sort of no longer present and aware, the idea is that you will bring yourself back to working with the reflection again infused with this sense of knowing. And because we're working with reflecting on difficulty, there could be some times during this practice that feel challenging for you. And I just invite you at any point to just allow the mind to rest. So you can just simply rest in open awareness, just sort of that sense of knowing without meditating on any object in particular, or you could just bring your awareness to something like your breath or physical sensation. So the idea here is that you don't want to power through if you're feeling like it's too hard. You could always come back to just a very simple awareness practice if the reflection feels like too much. So please know that that invitation is here. All right, great. And I'm so excited to see those of you that are with me today. And once again, we've got people from all over the world. I just love that. Thank you so much for spending about the next 20 minutes with me. So let's go ahead and get ourselves situated and get ourselves started here. So take a comfortable posture. Allow your body to just be a little relaxed and kind of just move your shoulders away from your ears. Place your hands on your thighs. And just have a sense of being present right here, right now. You can choose to practice with your eyes open or your eyes closed. Often, when we're doing a reflection, it can feel a little easier to have your eyes closed, but it is completely up to you. Notice the feeling of your hands in your lap, seat on your cushion or chair. Noticing the contact that your feet have with the ground. Take a couple of deep breaths, letting go of any activity that was happening prior to coming to this practice. Use the breath to become grounded and present. And as we move into our practice, see if you can identify a core value that you have that motivates you to meditate. Perhaps it's something like self care, self kindness. See if you can just touch in with that value and set a clear motivation to use this practice today to embody this value. And let's settle in by doing a brief body scan, bringing awareness to physical sensations in the body. Begin to notice any sensations happening in your head and your face. Noticing sensations around your eyes and in your jaw. No need to alter your experience. Simply using the sensations in the body to familiarize yourself with awareness, this capacity to know what's happening. And then notice sensations in your shoulders and your chest and your belly. Notice areas of tension. Bring awareness to the feeling of your chest and your belly as they rise and fall naturally with the breath. Noticing those moments when your mind wanders off, gets disconnected from awareness of the sensations. Bring your mind back again and again each time you notice those moments of distraction. And then bring awareness down to your lower body, your legs, and your feet. Notice the feeling of your seat supported in the chair or on your cushion. Feeling of your feet wherever they may be. Whatever sensations are happening, nothing needs to be fixed or altered. Simply knowing. And then taking a moment to bring awareness to the breath. Notice the area where the breath feels the strongest. Allow the breath to be natural, but be with the sensation of the breath in the body. And we'll move into a period of three reflections that will be interspersed with just moments of resting. So, first, bring to mind a challenging situation that you've encountered in your life, one that you handled well. And not choosing the most challenging thing that you've gone through, but something that felt workable but difficult. And see if you can bring that situation to your mind. It might take you a moment or two to land on the right one, but seeking to find a situation that felt workable, where there may have been an underlying value that helped you get through it. And once you've chosen the situation, see if you can clarify one value that helped you get through this challenging time. Maybe it was something like courage to face the difficulty, awareness to stay grounded in the midst of it. Take a moment to reflect with awareness on a value that was at play in this situation and explore how this value helped you through this experience. Here we're thinking with intention and awareness. And remember, at any point, if you feel overwhelmed or if this is challenging, you can simply rest your mind on the breath, on the body, or in open awareness. Reflecting on the ways in which this value helped you navigate this challenging situation, how it helped you. And then drop the reflection and allow the mind to rest and just notice how you're feeling as a result of doing our first reflection. Notice what's happening in the mind. If you're having any judgment about the practice, either positive or negative, notice what's happening in your body. Take a few moments to just be with what's happening in your body and your mind. Now bring to mind a current situation, something that's challenging, and reflect on how you might be able to apply this same value to this situation. How might you use this value to perhaps change your approach or change your perspective? In handling this situation, what might you do or say differently when leading from a place of this value? You might even take a moment to visualize yourself in the situation and imagine how you'd respond when being guided by this value. And once again, drop the reflection and allow the mind a moment to rest. Notice what's going on in your body and your mind. Not trying to alter our response, not trying to change our experience, simply being with whatever is happening in this moment. And now let's do the third and final reflection and bring to mind a situation that you're facing in the future, perhaps this upcoming week, knowing that things are shifting with the stay-at-home order. Perhaps there's something in your experience that you're noticing there. So bring to mind that future challenge and see if there's a core value, either a different value that you haven't used yet, or perhaps it's the value from your previous situation, and see how you could use this value to help navigate you through this difficulty. What might you say and do in this situation with this value at the conscious level? How might this shift your perspective? Remembering to recognize that pull of distraction when you're no longer connected with awareness of the reflection, and gently bring your mind back to working with the reflection if that feels right for you, or simply resting the mind as it is. Once again, allow the mind to rest for a moment after doing this reflection. Simply be with whatever's come up as a result of your practice, pleasant or unpleasant. Anything is welcome in practice. All right, and if your eyes have been closed, you can open your eyes and just notice what it's like to emerge from this reflection. And I would love to hear from you how that practice was. I know that this is different than things that we've done previously, sort of this more thinking with intention, with awareness, bringing to conscious level these values that have always been there. We just haven't seen how they've helped us through challenging situations. So as I'm waiting to hear from you, just want to share that, the evidence for the role of purpose and well-being is really overwhelming. And there's strong links between purpose and everything from life satisfaction to positive emotions to physical health. So there's just real benefit to really getting in touch with our purpose and our values, and being able to leverage these values to help us through challenging times. And I was just even reflecting in my own experience about how I feel like, as we're loosening here where I live in Minneapolis, the stay-at-home order, I'm noticing some grief come up around this. And so just trying to like notice the grief, but use a value that I have around compassion, and to be able to use that compassion both for myself, recognizing my own difficulty from this place of like sort of warmth and care, and being able to extend that out to others too, knowing that, if I'm having a hard time, with the potential change that other people are probably having a hard time too. So rather than being overwhelmed by my own grief or my own sort of overwhelm of the whole situation, being able to lead from this place of this value really helps to give me sort of this strength, a source of strength around this. So would love to hear how this was for you. Great. Yeah. I see some positive responses. I see some challenging responses. Yeah. It can be aggravating. Practice isn't always easy. And I think we just have to continue to remind ourselves that practice very much has its ups and downs. There will be experiences where it feels positive, and there will be experiences where it does actually feel very aggravating and challenging. And the idea here is to just be with whatever's happening. So, if you feel inspired to continue training your mind in these qualities associated with purpose, qualities of, figuring out our values and embodying our values and tapping into a more altruistic motivation, you can check out the Healthy Minds program app wherever you download your app so you can begin training your mind for free today. Our app is freely offered due to the generosity of our donors. And if you also have the means to do so and are inspired to donate, would love to have you do that as well. And so next week we'll be going into the remaining dimension of well-being that I don't think that we've explored during these practice weekly themes, which is the theme of insight. And insight has just been tremendously helpful for me in reducing my suffering and really look at how my thoughts and my perceptions play a role in how I perceive myself and the world around me. So really looking forward to seeing you next week. I will be here Tuesday and Friday. Daniela will be here Monday at 5 with a Spanish practice. So looking forward to seeing you next week. Be happy, be healthy, and really see if you can tap into your values to get you through your challenging times that you're coming up upon this next week. Sending love.